This is Tristan Gallo in the third interview with my mom.
Hi.
What adversities did you overcome?
When I was 12 years old, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. It's curvature of the spine. I had three different doctors telling me I needed three different forms of correction, one of them being surgery and having a rod put in my back. And I went to another doctor who told me that I could do therapy and fix it by doing exercises every day. And that was the route we took, and it wound up being successful.
Were people trying to put you down during this adversity?
Nobody was trying to put me down, but they were scaring me because if I put a rod in my back, I would never be the same. And you have very limited activities as a child if you have a metal rod in your back. And you'd have to wear a neck brace for a good 6 months to a year of your life, which then probably people would have put me down.
What was your main issue while trying to overcome your adversity?
Avoiding being put in a neck brace and trying to do the exercises religiously and get over the scare of getting surgery or putting a neck brace on. My parents take me twice a week to a therapist, and I had to do exercises every morning and every night for 2 years, and it wound up working.
What or who comforted you while overcoming your adversity?
Mostly my dad. He used to get on the floor with me and do the exercises with me. He tried to try to make it fun so I wouldn't forget to do them. I had to do them every day before I went to school and every night before I went to bed. This went on for 2 years, and then every 3 months I had to go to the doctor to see if I was making progress, and if there's a curve in your spine that they measure, and I'd have to get the curve measured every 3 months to see if it was straightening out. And if it's over a certain degree, that's when they put the brace on you. And then if it's even higher than that, then they put the rod in your back. So surgery, I mean, the exercises were helping, and the curve was getting less and less.
How does this adversity relate to the main character of Until Tuesdays?
Well, it's not quite as intense as what he went through, but it's just something as a child seems a lot bigger than life to have to be put out to have a health issue, and get over um, telling your friends and being out in public with God forbid, a brace or. But as far as having support from your family and your friends, and having good doctors and people by your side, it was definitely uh, it was not as hard to do with what I had, but at my age, given the age I was, it seemed like it was.
Thank
How
you.
does this adversity relate to the main character of Until Tuesdays?
Well, I didn't read the book, but what you explained to me that this is a war veteran, but we all know about it because it's a popular story. He came over, overcame some pretty big obstacles, and and being an army and retired veteran myself, I could totally relate. Mine was during the Vietnam period, and that was a pretty bad time. So I understood what it was like to come back home. People didn't appreciate what was going on. The support was not there, and I could see it's unfortunately today it's still the same thing that's going on for our veterans coming home. From my personal perspective, overcoming that was one of the biggest challenges in my life. That you have to overcome the physical impairments and the pain that you have to go through. So I could relate to that. It wasn't as bad as the character in the book, but being in the army and having the PTSD and the non-sleeping, I could totally relate to them, and it's very difficult, and I commend him for his service.
This is Tristan Gallo for the second interview with my uncle Richie.
Hello, Tristan. How are you? My name is Richard Leto. and I am 65 years old. I am a Army veteran, and I've been an avid runner and a biker my entire life. Fairly good shape and always been running around, so things have been pretty well. I'm a custodian, retired custodian for the New York City Department of Education. And my overcoming adversity is one day I was riding my bicycle on Shore Road and in the bike lane, and a woman that was with the child in a carriage came out of nowhere, stuck the carriage out, and I tried to avoid hitting the child in a carriage, and I wound up crashing my bicycle and damaging my neck pretty severely. So we went to the hospital, and I thought it was just some bumps and bruises, but it wound up to be almost the fight of my life.
Were people trying to put you down during this adversity?
Well, no, they're not putting me down, but the doctors did not know what was going on. There was when you have some neurological damage, it's always up and down. And I had lost feeling in my hand and in my leg. And it was very, very difficult for me at the time. And so it was people just trying to voice their opinions, whether they're trying to be positive. Most of the times it turned out to a negative, and it was a rough time because nobody knew it was wrong, and I did not know it was wrong with me, and it was very hard for me to recover during that period.
What was your main issue while trying to overcome this adversity?
The main issue was the physical challenges. I couldn't move my leg correctly, my back. The pain was excruciating, so I could not sleep for months at a time. It was very, very difficult, and the physical therapy did not work too well. So I had to just try to do things myself. I couldn't get to the realization that time heals everything. I was so used to being active, and being immobile like that was very, very hard for me to get through. I became very depressed and cranky, so it was very, very hard.
What or who comforted you while overcoming this adversity?
My wife Lisa was the rock that helped me throughout the whole thing, and my family. I had a lot of friends that supported me, and also thank Tristan too, because he's my buddy. We call him Dude, and it was very, very good. But it's still hard right now.
How did your adversity relate to the main character of Until Tuesdays?
Um, well, that's a good question. The main character actually is a war hero that got wounded, has severe injuries, came home, had severe PTSD, and was living in constant pain, and tried to find comfort in what was going on. He couldn't find anything. Well, the same thing applies to when you have cancer or rare cancer that they really don't have a cure from. It's like your own internal war. You have to fight it. You go to battle every single day. The correlation is that he incurred injuries from a battle, incurred injuries from the cancer surgeries. Everyone hurts every single day. The scars are ridiculous, and technically, I really couldn't even walk up a flight of stairs. I had to recover because they cut my legs, my arms, my head, and my ear, and moved it all around and replaced it with skin grafts. So from that perspective, it's pretty much very close to what he was going through, and I could totally relate to that, and vice versa.
This is Tristan Gallo. We're talking about adversities today, and this is my first guest, my dad.
Hello, Tristan.
What adversities did you overcome?
What adversities? Well, the first and foremost one is actually I overcome and been fighting very rare sarcoma, which is a form of cancer in my head that is spread to my shoulder and to my leg. I've had it for 8.5 years. I have multiple surgeries, and the most difficult one was just recently last year, where I had to have half my skull, side of my head, and my left ear removed to stop the spreading.
Were people trying to put you down during these adversities?
Well, not put me down, but they sometimes doctors don't give you the proper advice, or a lot of people will tell you you should start preparing for the worst. So from that perspective, I would say, yeah, some people try to put you down, but the most important thing is to fight.
What was your main issue while trying to overcome your adversity?
The main issue of trying to overcome my adversity. That's a good question. One of the issues, well, there's a lot of them. The radiation treatments while you're fighting cancer is actually it takes a lot out of your body. You get sick from it. You get pains. You get tired all the time. And then the side effects of the radiation that happen is that it might cure one thing, but it causes problems in other things, which they call secondary cancers. So it's very difficult to go through that.
What comforted you while overcoming your adversity?
Well, besides pain medicine. No, while going through that, I mean, the most important, what comforted me is my friends, and most importantly, my family. You know, Tristan and his sister Jade. They took care of me. They gave me the will to live. They were always there for me when I needed them. So it was a challenge, but so far so good, and they still continue to do it. It's always a fight. Still have to fight the cancer today, so you always have that stumbling block because you always have to go back and get checked. But as of now, so far so good. How much do we get? 2 minutes?
30 seconds.
There are only 30 seconds?